Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. A combative Premier has lashed out in a hearing into the stadium, labelling it a kangaroo court. He's defended the decision to sign the AFL deal as questions are raised over how much his cabinet knew.
Fronting a committee probing his stadium proposal, a day after tabling the list of cabinet documents used to deliberate on the deal.
They have a copy of the agreement.
Well, I'm not going to go into any cabinet
I'm not asking you. I'm asking you for did they have access to a document that's now mostly been made public?
Well, I made very clear to cabinet aspects of the deal.
Unable to confirm they saw it in full, only that they got a verbal update the day before he signed on.
Whether you're for or against the stadium, good governance matters, and in this instance, the Premier has exposed the state of Tasmania to significant financial risk.
We don't make irresponsible decisions as a government. We take advice, we make deliberations at Cabinet, and then we announce decisions that we've made.
The Sports Minister saying the whole Cabinet is in support of the deal. The first time Treasury appears to have given advice to Cabinet was September last year, 6 months after Peter Gutwein proposed the stadium in his State of the State speech.
And we don't consult and involve Treasury on every single part of every negotiation.
It seems incredibly reckless. Treasury is responsible for looking at risk into the future.
Committee members left frustrated by the fact-finding mission.
If a question's put and the answer is no, how about you say no?
While the Premier made his feelings known.
Frankly, to call it a kangaroo court is an insult to kangaroos.
With the public conversation getting more spiteful, he'll be hoping it's not what sees him bounced out. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, the judge in the trial of a Swansea couple accused of murdering their former son-in-law has told the jury that lies alone are not necessarily evidence of guilt. Cedric and Nolene Jordan have admitted to lying about their whereabouts on the night Shane Barker was killed in Campbelltown, but deny they murdered him. The prosecution says the Jordans had means, motive and opportunity to shoot the 36-year-old in August 2009. The jury will deliver 2 separate verdicts for the pair. Deliberations are expected to begin next week. One of our greatest Olympians is teaming up with prominent Tasmanians to support the Indigenous voice to Parliament. Shane Gould joining 5 other community leaders in Hobart this morning to add their voice to the debate. The group calling on voters to vote yes and ensure the Uluru Statement is enshrined in the Constitution.
So governments, change in governments can't dissolve that mechanism to Parliament.
As a proud Palawa woman, a proud Smith from southeast Tasmania, my heart's telling me yes for my elders.
A rally in support of the Yes campaign will be held in Hobart on July 2. The Federal Circuit and Family Court of Australia has announced they are working with the Burnie City Council, state and federal authorities to finalise arrangements for a temporary place within the next 2 weeks. Last month, the court announced it would be closing its Burnie registry due to a lack of a facility. A spokesperson says Judge Marcus Turnbull and senior staff visited a number of potential short and long-term sites earlier this month. It aims for the new venue to be operational by August. With Dark Mofo winding down, Tasmania's next winter festival is on the horizon, providing an extra bump to the tourism industry. The Festival of Voices kicks off with the annual Big Sing next Friday night with 170 events across the state.
There's that vibration you get when you're singing next to people, and we know what it's like to be in either a school setting, a religious setting or a sports setting where there's a great voice. It's just a euphoric sense of joy.
We're hoping for some 25,000 odd visitors or attendees at events for Festival of Voices, including 2,000 choral singers coming from the mainland as well, which we're looking forward to welcoming here.
427,000 tickets were sold to Dark Mofo events over the past fortnight. Tasmania's newest paramedics are just weeks away from active duty as our ambulance service prepares them for the job. Some of the 23 graduates have taken an unconventional path to the front line, but all of them are itching to hit the road.
From the young to the young at heart, these rookies are almost ready to lend a healing hand. Volunteering got 64-year-old Bob hooked on paramedicine, but it was his wife who gave him the push to go back to school.
And she said, I've been thinking about it. I've never seen you so happy doing anything. Would you consider going back to uni to become a paramedic?
He's part of a 23-strong cohort committed to being there for Tasmanians who need them most.
You cannot get any more frontline to our health system than indeed our paramedics who go out to the community, support people in absolute crisis and need.
The graduates are bringing their experience from nursing, volunteering, pharmacy and car sales.
This is a people job. Selling cars is a people job.
We know that we can be a better healthcare service when we represent the diverse community we serve.
They're halfway through an intensive 6-week induction before heading out to stations across the north, northwest and south.
We want to make sure that all our graduates are fully supported as they commence with Ambulance Tasmania, and that includes partnering them up with mentors for their 11-month on-road component of the training.
And for the first time, they'll also be partnered with peer support officers, offering the recruits a friendly ear.
And that's critically important to support the welfare and well-being of these awesome people as they embark on their training program.
But 21-year-old Tom thinks it's a job that'll keep him on his toes for life.
This is a job that you never really stop learning. Like when I'm 64, Bob's age, I think I'll still be learning.
Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
A former AFL footballer known as the Push-Up King is looking to push up a battling local footy club this weekend. Tigerland cult figure Jake King is lining up for the UTAS Lions. The reason is simply for the love of the game.
His well-known nickname precedes him.
Jake King! They're into them! Trying him, all of them! Do a push-up with them on top of you, Jakey!
James Brayshaw probably extended my career by 5 years.
Now, the man famous for doing more than 300 push-ups in a row as a rookie will spend his football twilight in the NTFA, going from Push-Up King to Lion King when he pulls on a UTAS Lions Guernsey.
I said, if you expected me to come over and kick 10 goals and win you a game, we got another thing coming. And for the first time, someone's replied, mate, we just want you to have fun and have a laugh.
And that's all it took to get one of the game's most popular cult figures to the club, which takes on Evandale tomorrow at 2 p.m.
It's probably the biggest thing probably happened to this footy club, in the 100 years it's been around.
He'll be a handy inclusion with the seniors at 1 win from 9 games.
He's in the pipeline. There's another few games he's going to come down and play this year for us.
The surprise announcement should give the seniors a huge push. I think I'll stick to reserves.
And who'd win a push-up contest between you and him?
Look, I reckon I'll be a good challenge for him. I'll give him a run for his money.
Jake King.
So instead of kicking to just one Tasmanian,
Revolt! Was always going to get that.
There'll be a whole team of them. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Hobart is at the centre of the global Antarctic community for the next week, with the city hosting a major conference. 250 delegates are visiting for the AGM of COMNAP, the Council of Managers of National Antarctic Programs. The City of Hobart is supporting the event, which began today with its new Antarctic Gateway branding currently being displayed in the CBD. The conference is taking place at the Hotel Grand Chancellor until next Thursday. Almost 50 business leaders have shivered through a night in the cold, bringing attention and much-needed funds to fight homelessness in Tasmania. The St Vincent de Paul Society's annual CEO Sleepout has managed to raise $100,000 so far and is on track to reach its target of $160,000.
It was pretty ordinary for most of us because it was on concrete, just with a bit of cardboard there, and it was coolish, but not too bad.
Data from Vinnie's shows more than 2,300 Tasmanians are without a roof over their heads each night across the state. Donations can be made until the end of next month. A group of cheeky monkeys are the latest residents to make their home in Tasmania. 4 Bolivian squirrel monkeys have made their way from Melbourne to Zoodoo Zoo. Brighton's mayor was on hand to greet the new additions and welcome them to the region. Taito, Carlo, Enzo and Leo will take up residence in a new habitat specifically designed to replicate the tropical conditions of South America.
Sophie Hollyman's Maroons have won the Shield for this year's Women's State of Origin despite losing the second match. The Launceston-born forward played 23 minutes off the bench. Unlike the men's game, the women's is calculated on points aggregate across the two games. New South Wales needed to win by 9 points to retain the Shield, which they failed to do. Hollyman will now play with the Canberra Raiders for the NRLW season starting this weekend. In the NPL, Clarence will go into this weekend's clash against Launceston United with a spring in its step. The club has won 3 of its last 4 matches and is aiming for a top 4 finish. Despite United being winless, the coach isn't taking the wooden spoon contender lightly.
We certainly know what the graft is like and how hard you have to apply yourself to strive towards these wins. So we're very, very cautious.
The match will also serve as the debut for the Zebras' latest signing. Canadian Riley Wishart signed with the team after stints in the US and Argentina.
Taking players on 1v1 down the line, getting crosses in, or cutting in and whipping in some shots far post.
And you can catch his debut at Wentworth Park from 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. The Jack Jumpers' newest import is excited to bring his style of basketball to the Apple Isle. 5'6" point guard Jordan Crawford led scoring in the Turkish Super League last year and has had stints in the G League, Germany and France. Nicknamed J-Craw, he is also attracted to the team's blue-collar image.
I want to reflect them, to be a hard worker, the blue collar that gets after it, and after each game, that win or lose, that they're proud and to be behind us.
His ability to play off the ball and create for others is also a bit underrated as well, and I think he's going to be a great fit with our group.
And the team's still finalising its last local roster spot. A North West Footy Club will be bestowed a major honour of Tasmanian football next month. The Penguin 2 Blues will be inducted into the game's Hall of Fame at a gala dinner.
Recognising the club's importance to the community it serves, the Penguin Football Club will be honoured as a great club by the Tasmanian Football Hall of Fame. Former players reflecting on the memories forged on the ground.
In 1980, there was when we won that grand final, three-quarter time we were about 4 goals down and a lot of those people left and they were coming over the Don Hill like when we'd almost caught Wynyard and they were turning around and coming back to the ground to enjoy the celebrations.
The 80 grand final, to win that from nowhere, from fourth spot basically. We had to win the last roster game to get into the finals and yeah, it was incredible. Never forget it.
Since 1891, Penguin has weathered many storms since its foundation, including world wars, losing spells and league expulsions. It has won 4 league premierships and produced many great talents, which have found success in interstate leagues.
We've had wonderful success over the years by sending 17 players from this municipality to play AFL, VFL football.
The women's team, formed in 2017, also gets a nod from the Hall of Fame, recognising its recent on-field success. Penguin will join 14 others being named as a great club.
We don't win much, but by golly, we know how to celebrate when we do.
And these scenes show just that. Mark Zita, 7 Tasmania News.
Great scenes, and the flashback takes on a new meaning tonight as we celebrate 10 years since the first winter solstice nude swim. In 2013, Dark Mofo exposed nude swimming as a sport to the masses after overcoming police threats to shut it down.
It's hard to believe a nude swim at Sandy Bay was once told, no way.
The law doesn't provide anybody to swim in a public place without any clothes on. So therefore, if we were to allow that, we would then be committing an offence ourselves.
Eventually, police decided to turn the other cheek, and Lord Mayor Damon Thomas was among the first to commit.
Provided that the minister gives me the oil he talks to me about making me warm.
They all could have used some of that. As the mercury hovered around 2 degrees, the first clothesless crop of winter solstice swimmers hit Long Beach. Only 300 people stripped off for the inaugural Bone Chiller. These days, nearly 2,000 sign up for the shock therapy. But you have to take your hat off, and, well, everything else for that matter, to those who brave the very first swim.
Exhilarating, freezing, and yeah, a lot of fun.
The first Dark Mofo had its typical mix of what on earth is that, and that looks amazing. But the solstice swim would arguably become the most memorable part year on year.
And the most challenging day year on year, Kim, for whoever edits it for that nice news.
That's
All those
very
little blues.
true. Thank you, Tom. Have a great weekend.
Good evening and a very happy Friday to you all. Hobart, Devonport and Burnie all 12 today, Launceston 11 degrees. Now max temps were recorded on King Island, Maria Island and Strawn, all 14, Friendly Beaches 13, 12 for St Helens, Grove and Bushy Park, Flinders Island and Low Head 11 and Lyweenie just 5 degrees. The visible satellite picture shows partly cloudy conditions about western Tasmania with overcast conditions about the east of the state. High cloud extends over eastern Tasmania from the Tasman Sea. High cloud and thunderstorms can be seen moving around a complex area of low pressure that is moving over western parts of the Bight. A trough is expected to move to the southeast of the state and weaken during Saturday morning. The low will move over the Bight while extending a trough to northern Tasmania. West to northwesterly winds tomorrow 10 to 20 knots during the morning, although northerly about the west and easterly about the southeast in the west and south. South to southwesterly swells 1 to 1.5 metres, tending westerly up to 3 metres about the west. Tomorrow there is a strong wind warning from Low Rocky Point to Wineglass Bay. A moderate flood warning continues for the South Esk and North Esk rivers. A road weather alert has also been issued for the northeast, east coast and southeast forecast districts. Tomorrow, Hobart, a shower or two, 14. Similar conditions for Maydena and Oatlands. Launceston and Devonport both 13 with showers, 7's the top for Lyweenie. Burnie showers expected, 12's the top there, 14 for Strawn and Marrawar. Showers increasing on the east coast with St Helens, Swansea and Alford all 14. And to the 3-day forecast, Sunday showers continue about the north and west with possible thunderstorms about the far northwest, otherwise mainly fine. Monday showers about the west, far south and Bass Strait Islands. Tuesday fine apart from a shower about the west, far south and Bass Strait Islands with a possible morning patch, otherwise mainly fine. To our mainland capital cities tomorrow, Perth showers 19, Brisbane sunny 24, becoming windy in Adelaide, Melbourne partly cloudy and 14 degrees. And currently in Hobart, it's raining with 11 degrees, Launceston cloudy 9, mostly clear in Devonport and 9 also. Kim, another week has come and gone. Have a lovely weekend.
And I'll see you again Monday. Thank you, Kaya. Before we leave you tonight, a rogue possum has caused havoc at Mount Noman Farm on the northwest. The misbehaved marsupial managed to dump 12 tonnes of grain from a silo over the ground and through the farmer's ute. It took a giant vacuum to clean up the mess and put the grain back where it belongs. Naughty possum. That is all your news for this Friday. We'll have updates throughout the night. Good night.